Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share on some of the reasons why we feel as though our spouse does not appreciate us, or we feel as though we are taken for granted, and some of the ways in which we can just move past that stage and just have a more effective and happy relationship with each other. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Lois Raymond. And on this channel, I'm all about helping and serving you navigate and blossom through life as a godly woman, wife, and mother. So the first sign or reason is that your spouse never says thank you, or they don't say thank you enough. Yes, there are roles and responsibilities that are delegated and expected of each individual in a relationship. And we can feel as though because this is your duty and this is what is required of you, I don't have to say thank you. I don't have to give you gratitude. You are just doing your due diligence. Especially if it is like a simple and easy task. It doesn't take a lot of work to do, and you do it with ease and daily and not complaining. Sometimes your spouse can just become ungrateful or just become so accustomed to you doing this thing. And we know that familiarity breeds dishonor. And because you're so accustomed doing this thing in and out on a daily basis, sometimes we can just become so accustomed to a thing or a person you always doing this particular duty or responsibility that we don't give them that respect and that acceptance and that appreciation that is needed. Thankfulness, appreciation, validation, recognition, being celebrated is an important part in your relationship. Everyone wants to feel appreciated, and sometimes just saying thank you for all that you do can go a very long way. No one wants to feel as though they're being used or taken advantage of. And even though it's a simple task that your spouse does not complain about, just a simple thank you from time to time. Hey, thank you for taking out the garbage. Thank you for taking care of the kids. I appreciate your efforts and it does not go unseen. Thank you for always putting gas in the car when you use it. Just taking note of the simple little things that your spouse do and recognizing it and just appreciating it and saying thanks is a way in which you can really make your spouse feel so much better, and a way in which you can encourage them to keep up the good work that they are doing. All I just want you to do is that from time to time, just recognize my labor of love and just say thanks. Another common reason why a lot of partners feel taken for granted of in a relationship is because we don't ask their opinion or their advice. You are not single anymore, and that mindset of just doing your own thing and making your own decisions and just being independent supposed to no longer be a part of your lifestyle. You are in a relationship now, you're in a marriage, and you ought to work as a team. You should consult first with your spouse, sharing your hearts, sharing your concerns, sharing what are your thoughts and your decisions. You ought to have them and include them and make them feel a part of your decision making before you even go and share it with anyone else. And a lot of the times this causes a lot of conflicts in a relationship and may make a spouse feel taken for granted because they are never in the loop of what the other person is doing. They just go ahead and just make decisions and does not consult or ask for advice from their spouse or ask for their opinion. And what could really hurt even more is when you ask other people for their advice and other people's opinion before you even ask your wife or before you even ask your husband. Or on the flip side to that, your spouse may be giving you advice and may be giving you warning or certain things that they are telling you, hey, you should work on this or you should try this, and you will not take heed or you will not take them any mind. But when someone else from the outside come and tell you the same exact advice, suddenly you get an epiphany, and that could hurt someone. I have been telling you this for the longest time and you have not been taking heed, but it takes someone else from the outside to tell you this, and suddenly you want to action it, or suddenly you have an epiphany. And this can really cause hurt to to your spouse or to your partner. Sometimes we can just really undermine our spouse and the value that they bring to our relationship. So this is one reason where hurt and pain could really start to creep into our relationship when we do not give our spouse the opportunity and the chance to really give their advice and their opinion and their thoughts on a topic or on a situation. You make plans without consulting them. And I must admit, I have been guilty of it. Both of us, my husband and I, we both have been guilty of this, just making plans for each other and not even running it by each other. And yes, in a relationship, you ought to give each other space to lead and to make decisions. And you must be able to trust your partner and their competency to make wise decisions, even without you being there, even without you being present, to make decisions on behalf of the household. Sometimes things come up and you have to make a quick decision, and you must be able to trust your spouse and their capability and their competency to make a wise decision on behalf of everyone. But I'm talking about major significant decisions, or you are habitually and always making decisions without your spouse. You ought to run things by your spouse and be able to get their opinion first before making a decision on behalf of both parties. And this is one thing that I really love about my husband. Especially when it comes to him working, if he's off and he gets called out to work, he will always say, hey, I'll get back to you. Let me run this by my wife first. And it's not that he's afraid of me or I am controlling him. It's just sometimes, okay, because I know he's off that day, I might make plans around that. So he wants to make sure that, hey, everything is clear. You don't have anything on your schedule that day. He's considering my plans and my feelings and how I would feel before making a decision. So don't get me wrong. Yes, you should be able to understand and know your spouse and their nature. And there are times where you may make decisions, but it should not be something that is habitual. And yet still, sometimes just saying, hey, let me talk to my wife. It's not that your wife is controlling you. It's not that your husband is controlling you. It's just that you just want to make sure that it's okay. Because a lot of times, sometimes we would make a decision for our husband or for our wives, and they had a plan that they were already planning, and then things clash. So just to be safe, saying, hey, let me just run it past my husband or my wife first, really makes your wife feel appreciated. And I really do feel special and appreciated to know that my husband is thinking about me and he's thinking and considering me. So just always just making plans without consulting your spouse is one way in which they can feel as though they are being taken advantage of or taken for granted. Your partner does not do their fair share. This is a huge, major cause of just feeling as though you are being taken for granted. When you feel as though all the burden is upon you, you are carrying the weight of the household on your shoulders, and it's lopsided, where you are doing all the work, you are making all the investments, all the pressure is on you, and your spouse is not coming up to level. Your spouse is not doing his fair share. When you feel as though you have no help and you have no support, there must be proper division of tasks, proper division of roles and responsibility in a household. Things like cleaning the house, maintenance, caring for the kids, even in terms of for the couples, you can feel as though you're taken for granted of as a husband if you're the one always initiating intimacy and your wife isn't. There must be a fair share. There must be a clear and a level playing field. These are your responsibilities and you are fulfilling it. You are doing what you ought to be doing, and these are my responsibilities. They are clear and I am doing it. When we both work together in a household, when everyone do their part and do it well, the cause for being unappreciated will cease. Your partner does not do special occasions. Everyone ought to be celebrated, and everyone ought to be celebrated on special occasions. Yes, I know for different people, you may not celebrate Christmas, Valentine's Day, for whatever reason, and that's okay, we respect that. But there must be special occasions, significant occasions, like your anniversary, probably the first day you met, where you really celebrate your spouse on that day. It's a special day, a day out of the year to really honor your spouse and to celebrate them. It's a day when you go above and beyond to declare and express your love to one another. There is no effort to be romantic. You know, you don't get flowers from time to time. You feel as though my husband, he doesn't love me, or he doesn't appreciate me because he don't do things for me. He's not thoughtful, or my wife is not thoughtful enough. I don't want you to make me feel special every day, but every once in a while, especially for important days like birthdays and anniversaries, and for me, Christmas, and special days that were designated and are culturally known to be special days. I want to feel special. I don't want that it's my birthday, you forget my birthday, or you don't do nothing for me. I want you to go the extra mile. And these things, for my anniversary, I want us to do something. And if no thought is being put into place, if no thought is being given to these days, your spouse can definitely feel as though they are not appreciated, they are not loved, and they are being taken for granted of. And lastly, a bonus tip: your spouse goes and comes when they please. And this could really get under your skin, especially if your love language is quality time, or you really appreciate quality time. And your spouse is always busy. They always have an appointment, always have somewhere to go, always have something to do. They're never home. When they are working, but when they are home, when it's supposed to be relaxed time with the family, your spouse always have to do something. Always have to go outside to check something. Always have to go outside to check the car, to visit a friend, to do this. Always busy, always have an appointment, and never take the time to be present in the moment. Or even if we are home, you are watching TV, you're always on your phone, you're always finding something to do, and you don't have time to really connect with me, to bond with me. It's important to be present, and sometimes just to disconnect from the world and just pay attention to your spouse and spend quality time away from the phone, away from the noises. Not I am in one room and you are in the other room, but together, being present in the moment. And this is a major reason why a lot of people in relationships feel as though they are taken for granted of, because you're always busy, you always have something to do, somewhere to go. So I wanted to give you guys 3 tips for what you can do to really move past this and really feel appreciated and not taken for granted of. 3 ways to eradicate this problem. So the first tip that I will give to you guys is to communicate. Yes, it's basic, we all say it, but it's so fundamental and you can't run past it. You have to communicate, and communicate in a loving manner. Sometimes as women, we just need to be specific and explain to our husbands, crossing the T and dotting the I's, being as clear and specific as possible as to what we want and what we desire and what they can do to better make us feel appreciated. Hey, sometimes we say, I feel as though you don't appreciate me, and that's what we say, but we need to communicate better. What does that mean? What do you want me to do for you? I would like if you can bring me flowers once a month. I would like if you can help me bathe the kids in the night. I would like if you can wash the dishes once per week. Sometimes we have to be clear and specific and do it in love. And a lot of the times, the reason why we don't do it in love is because we do not say nothing, and then we have all this built up emotion. And when we are emotionally burnt out, then we come in a frustrating manner to express our feelings and how we feel. But doing it in love is very crucial. Another tip that I would highly recommend is if you express yourself, you communicate your feelings, and it's still not working, your spouse is not working on it, or you guys are not seeing things eye to eye, go into counseling. You know, going, talking to someone that can help you guys just cross this hurdle. And lastly, I was very hesitant to give this advice, you guys, because, you know, the Bible clearly talks about what love is, right? And, you know, being married, it's different to when you are single. You know, when you're single, you can break up with your boyfriend, but when you're married, there are some things that you don't have the privilege or the luxury of doing. You have to stick it out, right? But what I would say sometimes is just meeting your needs and finding ways to make your burden light. If you're constantly telling your husband, this is what I need from you, and you're not doing it, honey, you buy yourself the flowers. You carry yourself on a date, or find ways to make your burden light. If you have to hire a babysitter to help you with your kids, or do something to just make your burden light. If it is today, you say, you know what, I'm not going to cook. We're going to buy food and eat because I am burnt out. I'm tired at the end of the day. So to make life easy for me, because you are not helping me, we're going to buy food today. We're going to order food and eat as a family. So find ways in which you can meet your needs. And when I mean meet your needs in terms of just self-love and self-care, and also find ways in which you can make your burden lighter. And most importantly, you guys, pray about it. Pray about it. Sometimes we complain, but go to the Lord and pray about it. Say, Lord, this is what I desire from my husband. Lord, turn his heart. You hold the heart of kings in your hands and you turn it. Lord, turn my husband's heart towards me. I always pray, Lord, give my husband eyes for only me. Give him desires for only me. Go to the Lord in prayer. Prayer changes people. Prayer changes circumstances, and prayer changes things. So I hope that this video have really been a blessing to you. If you have not yet subscribed, you guys, please join the gang and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.